you guys about my capstone project, which is titled How Bergmann's Rule Affects Dietary Habits Amongst Otocilius virginianus in the State of Utah. To kind of start out, I'd like to talk a little bit about what exactly Otocilius virginianus is. But this is the scientific name for basically white-tailed deer. And white-tailed deer are commonly found throughout all of North America. But especially here in Utah, there's a lot of subpopulations within the state. And with that, they cover the whole entire state from the north to the south. And so there are other deer populations as well within Utah. There's the mule deer, but they're only found in a handful of areas up in northern Utah, so they're not as common as the white-tailed deer. So that's why I chose white-tailed deer as the main specimen for this project. And with that as well, I'm also a pre-dental student, and so this project mainly focuses on dietary adaptations that are made possible through the dental anatomy of white-tailed deer. So here on the left we have an image showing all of the molars and premolars of the jawline that are in the white-tailed deer. But to kind of also explain the other aspect of my project, Bergmann's rule. For those who haven't heard of this term before, it's very common in biology. Basically, it explains how within the same species, they're commonly found to be larger in colder climates, and likewise with that, they're found to be smaller in warmer climates. And so here, this illustration shows that penguins down in Antarctica are going to be significantly bigger than up north, towards like the coast of Ecuador, and close to the equator. And so here, like, it's showing 1.2 meters is like the average height of this penguin right here, and then up towards like the equator, they're around half a meter. But kind of explaining the known dietary habits of deer, the deer's tooth shape are hypsodontical, meaning that they are these longer teeth that allow the teeth on the top side to be more spread out and have more surface area. And so this allows the deer to eat more, plant-based food, more berries, more roots, more leaves, and it kind of helps with the durability to kind of last them their whole lives, to be able to chew down their food and break it down. So with this, the University of Utah, they actually have a museum that has a lot of specimens of all sorts of mammals and other organisms. So it's super cool that they have all that. But something that's really unique about their museum is that they have a collection of white-tailed deer jaw specimens. So this is super crucial to my project because they actually have all the resources necessary for us to gather the data that we need in order to see if Bergmann's rule actually has an effect within all of the species of white-tailed deer throughout the state of Utah. And so how actually we're able to go about doing this is by using a software that is super helpful. It's called Morpho-J. And so it uses geometric morphometrics or morphometrices that basically kind of help us figure out what exactly the deer is able to eat based off the measurements of the height, the width, the length of the tooth. And so once all that data is entered in, they actually have a database that shows kind of what exactly they're equipped for their environment. So using this, we're actually able to see throughout the whole entire state of Utah what dietary habits these subspecies of white-tailed deer have that are specific to their environment. And obviously Utah is a very diverse state. If you go up north, it's pretty cold in the wintertime. If you go down south or towards St. George, you lose a couple thousand feet of elevation. So it's very diverse, and all of the population of deer that are collected at the University Museum, they come from all over the state, and they have all the information of where the specimen was collected. So with that, we're actually able to figure out if Bergmann's rule is a significant thing within all of the white-tailed deer throughout the state of Utah. So that's a basic description of the project, and the possible data interpretations that will come from the project. I'm super excited to get going at this project and can't wait to see what the results are. But thank you so much for listening.